Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. I want to say thank you if you are watching this. Thank you for clicking on this. If you are subscribed already, I really appreciate it, man. Let's get those numbers up. If you haven't subscribed, maybe consider subscribing. Maybe consider liking some of the videos. Maybe consider going back and watching some of the older videos. I'm just trying to document what I'm doing out here. Starting a new business, working for myself, dealing with customers and cars, and I just want to document it. I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I don't have anything from that year or that time in my life because I was just too busy to pick up a phone and hit a picture, snap a picture, or hit a video. You know, it's like YouTube is just allowing me to document what I'm doing, and it's never a bad thing because time goes by quick and you look back and you're like, man, I don't really have anything to look back on. Like, I was just busy and never picked up my phone to even take a picture or video. So that's basically what this YouTube thing is for me. Plus it's just kind of a point to prove that I can make it grow like anything else, like the business and stuff. I just want to make the YouTube grow too. It's just something I'm into. So if I haven't explained that very well yet, there you go. So on today's video, we are going to be working on a 2008 F-350 Lorate Edition Super Duty diesel. Pretty nice little truck, leather interior and whatnot. So this is a customer of mine that got a detail done last week, and he just kind of rushed this in afterwards, just being like, hey, I need to get this done. So here's the truck that we are going to be working on. Nice 350 Super Duty, and this is what we're going to be doing. He wants to replace the 4 door speakers, or the 4 interior speakers that are in there, with these nice Alpines. These are actually pretty nice little speakers. Hopefully he did his research and that's what it calls for, because I sure as hell don't know. But they are 6x8 RS68 Alpines. All 4 are the same. They come with speakers, little hardware, and that is it. Not something super crazy, but better than OEM, you know, better than what these probably sound like from 2008. So basically in the front, normal door speaker location, kind of in the door panel, and then in the rear it's kind of weird, but it's back behind the seat belt here. Which I don't quite understand because you have all this room on the door, but that's where they're located on this thing. And once I start getting some stuff taken apart and start figuring it out for myself, how these work and how it's going to go, I'll pick up the camera and kind of show you guys, and that way if you have a truck this year or something like that, you'll know how to do it. And like I said, at least it's a little something different for the channel. Nice little audio upgrade, so I'm gonna go ahead and get working on it. Alright, so we got one side of the truck done. The front door was like stupid easy. Like 4 screws, pop a couple things out, unplug the speaker. Super easy. The rear, on the other hand, not so much. All I could find on YouTube was, I think, extended cabs or a different model or something. That was the only video I could find on YouTube of somebody taking these apart. But their panel split like right here. So you could basically just take off the weather trimming, the weather stripping, I mean, a little trim down here. And then from like halfway down where the speaker's at, you could just pop this one out and kind of leave it through the seat belt here, lean it off to the side. It wasn't too bad. You could get to the speaker, put that back on, put that back on, put the seal back on. Super easy. But on this one, with it being a full size, it was a little bit different. My panel is full. It does not cut off right here and goes all the way up by the seat belt. So this seat belt does have to come out. The top part of it just has to, you know, you unscrew it. Doesn't make it like super hard or anything, but it just took, you know, a couple extra minutes of figuring out. There are plug and play clips that a lot of companies, I know I saw like a Kicker one online that will come with these plugs. And basically you know, it plugs into your factory plug here, which is exactly what this is, and then it splices 2 wires that come down into plugs like this. So I don't know if you knew about that or just didn't want to buy them or what the case was. I didn't really see the prices or know the differences and whatnot, and I probably would if it was me buying them, but it's whatever. He didn't, so I just had to splice a couple little connectors on each one of them, positive and negative. From what I could tell, you really can't even mix them. Their polarity's the same, but I looked up the diagram to find which ones were positive and hooked them up that way and did it a little bit more officially, but I did them both ways and you really couldn't tell a difference, so I don't think there is a difference. But basically I got that side done, rear and front. Here's the stock speakers. Everybody says they're pretty much junk. Paper, cone, just crappy speakers. So I snipped them off. Snipped off the harnesses, the plugs, left enough there to where if you ever wanted to splice them back on, you could. But yeah, these are the factories. And then, you know, just as an example, here's what the new ones look like. A lot nicer, a lot better quality. The only difference is these little plugs. So buying the adapters, I can't imagine it would be very much. So buy the adapters. It saves you from having to do these basically. So all I'm doing is cutting off the plug. On each of the wires I'm putting a small gold and a big gold connector. So those can go, you know, on your speakers. I'm sure everybody's done something like this. And then I found some, or I have some shrink wrap that fits over the connection, over the wire pretty pretty tightly, and you know, you crimp down your connectors. It's for the right gauge and everything. You crimp them down, and the 2 I've done so far seem super good, super solid. So these are like, you know, the gold ones that are supposed to be a little nicer. The plastic on the end's a little nicer, you know. It all melts in with the shrink wrap and creates a pretty nice sturdy connection. You could solder or something, but most of the time when you see people installing stereo stuff, they are just using stuff like this. So it's good enough for me, even though I'm kind of a butthurt for that stuff. So what I have here is basically just the tools it took to do this. It's really not bad. The ratchet is, you know, either or. I really just used the impact on everything, but there was, in the back, I did use this for like 1 or 2 before I could get the ratchet in there, or the impact in there. So the screws that hold the door panels and the speakers, basically every screw that you need to get off is a 7mm. And then for the rear, you will need a T50 for the seat belt. And those are literally the only 2 tools you need, other than, like, you know, a flathead or panel, actual panel pry bars, you know. I think I used this on like the front one time, and then the rest of it all got pulled up by this stuff. So I think these are like $5-10 at Harbor Freight. Everybody's got a freaking flathead. If you don't have an impact, you know, use a ratchet. You can literally go buy a T50 on its own, or buy a little pack of them at Harbor Freight, super cheap, 7 mils, pretty universal, and then just some wire strippers. But you can use a razor blade. Like I said, very cheap, but razor blades work too. I even used it to clean one of the wires up a little bit. And then for the heat shrink, you know, some sort of flame. Go ahead and set up a little footage of me actually pulling the door panels apart and getting it out, and then in the rear I'll probably show it pretty extensively because it is a little bit harder, but the front I'll show you real quick. It's super simple. Okay, so real quick, what I did, you pull off this, just 2 clips. You pull off this, just has 2 clips. Be careful. You get under here, pull this off, a little flathead, two bolt head screws. You come down here, 2 bolt head screws. Those are going to be your 7mm. So 1, 2, 3, 4 clips, and the door comes off. You'll have 4 7mm on your speaker. Splice the ends or use the adapters. Put the new speaker in, test that it works, put everything back together. And then back here, like I said, we have to, you pop this little cover forward, use the T50, pull this down, set it off to the side, pop this off, get your weather stripping off, and this panel will lean over out your way so you can get to the speaker back here. I'm going to try to set you guys up on a time lapse to do it, but it kind of all depends on if I can get somewhere to set my phone inside the car to film it, so we'll see. Alright guys, so that is gonna wrap it up for the speakers on this truck. I figured I would go ahead and test them out. And then just centered out. I don't know how good that quality of sound is gonna be on the camera, but this thing sounds 10 times better. Install went pretty smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and box back up the old speakers, get this thing pulled out, get the stuff back in it that I took out in the back seat, get the truck pulled out of the garage, and the owner should be here shortly to pick it up. So turned out good. That's how you replace your stock speakers in a F-350 full size. Like I said, the back was, you know, trickier than other models, but as long as you take out the seatbelt top like I showed you, and then just be careful with this whole panel here because it's pretty big. So, you know, start at the top, work your way down, popping the clips off, and then same thing, putting it back in. Just try to get them lined up and go from like the bottom down, or the bottom up, or the top down, I think is what I did, just to make sure that it gets popped all back in. Be careful with the 3 clips on here. They were kind of gross. They clip into the panels beside it as well. And then just get your, you know, weather stripping back on. not too bad of a job at all. Pretty much anybody can do it if you have some small knowledge, you know, even the littlest bit of knowledge and then a small amount of tools. Pretty much anybody can do this job. So that'll wrap it up. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button or go below, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. It all helps out the YouTube statistics for my channel, because I'd like to get it to grow. So if you're watching this, please interact with me on YouTube and share it, Facebook, whatever. That'll wrap it up. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace out, and I'll see you on the next one.